Hi dear students, welcome back. And this video we are going to discuss about phanerogams and phanerogams where we can see body differentiation, that is roots, stem and leaves are present, specialized vascular tissues are present, that is xylem and phloem, specialized reproductive tissues are present, and seeds are present. And based on the types of seeds they produce, they are classified actually into two categories, that is gymnosperms and angiosperms. I know you all are familiar with these terms because you all already studied in your 9th standard in detail about these gymnosperms and angiosperms, right? So what are these gymnosperms? So today we are going to discuss about gymnosperm. So what do you mean by gymno? So gymno means naked, right? Naked. Sperma means seeds. So the plant which is having naked seeds will come under the category gymnosperm. So angiosperms which is having a covered seed, right, or enclosed. Okay. So here in this case, here examples you can see cycas, and here in this case what happens means the ovules are not actually enclosed by the ovary wall. That is the difference between this angiosperms and gymnosperms. So seeds both after fertilization and before fertilization, they remains exposed. Okay, so we can see here you can see the gymnosperm ovule and an angiosperm ovule. So here in the case of angiosperm ovule, you can see the ovary wall. It is been enclosed by a ovary wall, but here it is absent. They are not enclosed by the ovary wall. Okay, so that is the main difference. So gymnosperms remain exposed before and after fertilizations, the ovules. Got it? So seeds that are developed post fertilization are not at all covered. That means they are naked. And they include medium-sized plants, tall plants, shrubs, etc. And the tallest plant tree species under the gymnosperm, skua. Skua is the giant redwood, is the tallest tree species. And the roots are generally taproot. You know two types of roots, like you studied fibrous root and taproot, right? So here you can see taproots. So roots have some genera fungal association to form mycorrhiza. Yeah, you know about mycorrhiza, right? Yes. Then you can see here in plants like cycas. All are familiar with these type of plants. In your home garden it will be there, like cycas. Yeah, so they have small specialized roots, coralloid. Coralloid is, you can see here, and they are associated with nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. Actually, these mycorrhiza and this type of nitrogen fixing bacteria, that is the symbiotic association. Okay, so they are symbiotic association seen which helps in the nitrogen fixation. And mycorrhiza actually it's symbiotic with algae. And the stems are generally unbranched like in cycas, or maybe branched also in pinus or citrus, and leaves are simple, maybe compound also, and they are well adapted to withstand extreme temperature, humidity and wind. And in cycas, pinnate leaves persist for years, and in coniferous, that is the pine and citrus, the needle-like leaves reduce the surface area, and the thick cuticle and the sunken stomata helps to prevent the loss of water. And the gymnosperms are heterosporous. We already discussed what you mean by heterosporous and homosporous, right? So here heterosporous means the size varies, right? So they produce megaspores as well as microspores. So bigger one and larger and smaller types of spores will be produced by them. Okay, so that is why they are heterosporous. And some leaves are modified into sporophylls, and so they are compactly spirally arranged along with axis to form lax, strobili or cones. So here you can see, most of you might have seen this type, right, in the cycas and male strobili. Here you can see the female strobili. And sporophylls bear sporangia, which you know already, which will be consisting of spores, right? And sporophylls are of two types. Again, here is also two types, microsporophylls and megasporophylls. So you know microsporophylls related to the male, right? And male corn, and megasporophylls, it is related to the female corn. You can see here the picture of the both. Next is the microsporophylls. So they are the male corns, right? So they are arranged to form the male strobili, and they bear microsporangium, and microsporangium develops into male gametophyte. Okay, so it is highly reduced and confined only to a limited number of cells, and this gametophyte is called actually the pollen grain. Okay, and here you can see the longitudinal section of male corn. So here this is the microsporangium, and this region, that is the, everywhere you can see the microsporophylls which bears the pollen grains in them, right? So the pollen grains are developed within the microsporangium. Okay. And megasporophylls, that is the female, right? Female corn. So they are arranged to form female strobili, and they bear megasporangium, that is the ovule, and megasporangium mainly consists of a body called nucellus. So what is nucellus? It is the central part of ovule. Okay, so it is one of the cell that act as mega mother cells to form spores, megaspores, through meiosis. Here you can see the megaspore mother cells undergo meiosis to form 4 megaspores. Okay, so out of that 4, one will be enclosed within the megasporangium, that is the nucellus. Okay, that is a nucellus which develops into a multicellular female gametophyte that bear 2 or more archegonium. That is the female part, archegonium, which is going to release the egg, right? And the multicellular female gametophyte is also retained within the megasporangium. Okay. And the male and female corns may be borne on same tree like in pines, or in different trees like in cycas. Okay, so both way we can see either in different plants or on same plants. But unlike bryophytes and pteridophytes, in gymnosperms the male and female gametophytes do not have independent living, free living existence. So they remain within the sporangia itself. Okay, so they remain within the sporangia retained on the sporophyte, that is the main plant body. We will discuss about the reproduction in the case of gymnosperms, or the life cycle of gymnosperms. Okay, so here you can see the seeds and from which the sporophyte develops. So here in this case of gymnosperms, the dominant phase is the sporophyte. Okay, so both way we are going to discuss, that is the megasporangium as well as the microsporangium, that is male and female corn. So the first one is the pollen cone, that is the microsporangium, which consists of the pollen grains, which we discussed in the previous slide, right? So the pollen grains, we can see microspores which develops the pollen grains which is ready for pollination. And next is the seed corn, that is the ovule, that is megasporangium, female corn, and the archegonia, that is the female part. So here they both try to meet each other through the pollination, that is the pollen grains from the male part, that is the male part, pollen grains will try to enter the female part here through the pollination. And we know that pollen grains, once they meet the female part, they develops a pollen tube to enter the inside the female part, right? So here you can see they develops a pollen tube. Pollen grains will try to enter here through the pollination, and they develops a pollen tube. So once the male and female, the sperm and egg meets each other, we know that fertilization occurs. As a result, zygotes are formed, right? And zygote, they develop into embryo, and this ovule will be changing into seeds again. So this is the life cycle of gymnosperm, that is the pollen grains are released from the microsporangium and are carried by the air currents and meet the opening of the ovule, and the pollen tube carrying the male gametes grows towards the archegonium, here you can see, into the ovules and discharges their content near the mouth of the archegonia. and when the after meeting the male and female, they meet each other, that is fertilization occurs. After fertilization, here you can see zygote develops, and which will be again developing into the embryo and the ovule into seeds. So this is the life cycle of gymnosperm. You have to keep in your mind the dominant phase is sporophyte. And what are the economic importance of this type of gymnosperms? Actually, they also control soil erosion in forest. They are used in the manufacture of soap, nail polish, perfumes, and they are also used as for making the furnitures, etc. So these are all about gymnosperm. Thank you.